new watch, new babe.
So what's good, TMG fam? It's your boy L. I'm back with another reaction. How y'all feel? Welcome back to the channel. Salute. So listen, real question, like real serious type life question. Real life question. Are you prepared in your home? Are you protected in your home? Like no one's ever truly 100%, but are you protected enough in your home to take care of your family or your loved ones? Are you? Seriously, are you? Like a lot of times we think because we live in a nicer part of town, let me do air quotations with that, the nicer part of town, that things or burglaries or break-ins or you know what I'm saying, hostage situations may not take place where we live at. You're wrong. You know what I mean? Stop even living in that false reality, thinking that. You're wrong. They happen everywhere. Even the places that you least expected to happen, they happen. So my question to you again is, are you taking the necessary steps to protect your family? You know what I'm saying? The people that can't be replaced, your loved ones, man. That's a serious question. You don't need to answer it. You don't need to go to the comment section. You just need to think about it. Process it in your mind. Have I? And I'm mainly talking to the men. Not just the men, but the women as well, but mainly the men, especially if you're the head of the household. You know what I mean? Because it ultimately falls on your responsibility, you know? So, the next video, even though this video may not have anything to do with that, it just was something when I saw this title. And when I think about these type of videos, man, I often think about it. And a lot of times it's like, dang, I should have said that in the video. You know what I mean? You think about stuff after the video's over. So I was like, man, let me say that in the beginning, man, because I have a genuine concern for that, man, just to make sure you guys are protected and safe. You know what I'm saying? And that could be security system. That could be making sure you have some weapons around your house, some different things around your house. You know what I mean? Night watch programs in your neighborhood, those Ring doorbells, having alerts, you know what I'm saying? Having some animals around your house, maybe a dog, a guard dog, different things that are in place to give you a leg up on somebody trying to, you know what I'm saying, break into your home and do something to you. So this next video here is actually, it says, never mess up with this guy, never mess up with this guy. It said the most dangerous prisoners that ever existed on Earth. All right, so we're gonna get into this, man. Appreciate you guys for the views, appreciate you guys for the subscribe, and I appreciate you guys in the comment section. All right, let's check this out.
The Night Stalker took the lives of 13 people.
13 people who were awakened in the night to face death.
Richard Ramirez, aka
13 people, but did you hear what they said after that? 13 people awakened in the night. You're most vulnerable when you sleep. So having something in place to give you a chance to get to safety or to get to your weapon to alert you that somebody's trying to come in your house, it's pretty crucial.
The Night Stalker isn't a fictional character in a movie or TV series. He's a real serial killer from 1985. The Night Stalker can rightly be considered one of the most terrible and most dangerous people on the planet. He's just one of the criminals I'll tell you about today. Let's go. Let us, however, travel from Anchorage to Russia, or rather back then to the Soviet Union. That's where one of the most ruthless monsters in modern history operated from the late 70s into the early 90s. It took 13 years to catch Soviet serial killer Andrei Chikatilo. He was called the Mad Beast, the Red Ripper, the Forest Lane Maniac, and the Butcher of Rostov. Chikatilo...
Yo, this dude was killing so many people that he had so much time to change his name. Listen to the amount of names they gave him.
He's into the early 90s. It took 13 years to catch Soviet serial killer Andrei Chikatilo. He was called the Mad Beast, the Red Ripper, the Forest Lane Maniac, and the Butcher of Rostov. Chikatilo had at least
4 different names they gave him, bro. 4. It's crazy.
Red Ripper, the Forest Lane Maniac, and the Butcher of Rostov. Chikatilo had at least 53 terrible crimes against women and children on his account, which for too long couldn't be solved. 15 people were his victims in 1984 alone. According to YouTube rules, I can't tell you what and how Chikatilo did it, but he behaved like a classic maniac. doing absolutely horrible things. It seems that everything most shocking and disgusting imaginable is in his criminal biography. Like many serial killers, from the outside, Chikatilo tried to seem normal. He was a husband and a father. He was educated. He even worked as a teacher and educator for a while. It didn't go unnoticed by his students. Unfortunately,
Do you know who your children's teachers really are? And I ain't trying to cause for no panic or nothing. I don't need for y'all going in the school Monday morning. But do we really know? We don't. We place a lot of trust in the school board system, don't we? Just something to think about, though.
Chikatilo was neglected for too long, and others were blamed for his crimes. These included people with mental problems and random victims of police brutality. One unfortunate man was even shot for a horrific act he didn't commit. And all this time, for more than 10 years, the real beast remained at large. Once, however, he was apprehended and then released because of a fatal mistake that cost the lives of several more people. His traces were found on the bodies of Chikatilo's victims, but when they were compared to the perpetrator's blood type, they didn't match. This is a rare phenomenon seen in one person in a few million. Only 6 years later, Chikatilo was finally caught and confessed to all his crimes. Despite attempts to act like a madman, the monster was found sane and sentenced to death. Needless to say, a personality of such a terrifying scale left its mark on history. TV shows and movies have been made about Chikatilo, including Citizen X, Evil Enco, and Child 44, based in part or in whole on the Red Ripper case. But while Chikatilo seemed like a quiet, unsociable man who was difficult and unpleasant to talk to, John Wayne Gacy was his opposite. A successful businessman, philanthropist, family man, respectable citizen who liked to dress up as a clown and entertain kids. He would be the last person police would suspect of kidnapping more than 30 teenagers and young men. Yes, a homicidal clown. Ring any bells? Many
Do y'all think that's where they got the It movie from? Just the idea off of John Wayne Gacy? Because now I'm going to look at it different if that's the case. Like, I never put that together, but now that they put that right behind it, it's like killer clown. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Many believe that Gacy was the prototype for Pennywise the Clown from Stephen King's novel It, though the author himself denied the connection. For a long time, Gacy built a career and made a life for himself without drawing the attention of the police. But in 1967, he committed his first crime against a 15-year-old boy.
You might be witnessing one of the most horrible crimes, perhaps, in a century.
Fortunately, the boy survived, and Gacy was sentenced to 10 years in prison. Perhaps the story could have ended differently, and many people would still be alive. But during his incarceration, Gacy quickly gained a reputation as a model prisoner, so he was released after only 18 months. This happened on June 18, 1970, and as early as
I don't remember. I remember we watched the video on John Wayne Gacy, but I don't remember them telling us he was only in for like 18 months, bro. Like you learn a little bit each time you hear about a little more about these guys that make you say, yo, like what was our system, bro? It's been broken for a long time, fam. Like a long time. Like now today's time with social media, these dudes ain't going that far. It's too much going on these days, bro. Social media gonna help you capture them.
January 2nd, 1972, Gacy took the life of a new victim. Almost accidentally, one crime triggered an avalanche of subsequent crimes. While taking lives, Gacy continued to be regarded as a decent citizen and acted as a clown at various events because he simply liked it, and his victims counted in the dozens. Eventually, Gacy was caught. His conviction for 33 murders was the biggest in the history of the United States at the time. Gacy was sentenced to death and spent most of his time in prison drawing. More often than not, he painted creepy clowns. These paintings were purchased by various galleries and private collectors, and they're still exhibited around the world and cost thousands of dollars.
This here is the Hi-Ho series. This is called Hi-Ho Around the Campfire.
As in the case of Chikatilo, several films have been made about John Gacy. For example, To Catch a Killer. Gacy is also mentioned in the TV series Prison Break and appears in American Horror Story and Supernatural. However, not all of the greatest criminals have already been brought to justice. Dawood Ibrahim is a gangster who's considered one of the most hunted men in India. For his capture, they're promising a reward of $25 million.
And these photos, it don't really look like he hiding much. To do it, they look like he pretty much out in the open like, hey, pick me, I dare you.
Dawood Ibrahim is accused of murder, extortion, trafficking in illegal substances, and other offenses. In 2011, the Federal Bureau of Investigation and Forbes magazine ranked Dawood number 3 on their list of the world's 10 most wanted criminals. But it all started out small. It was theft and fraud, then car theft and petty smuggling amid street wars. Then there was more. Dawood moved on to traditional extortion, arms sales, then to the control of almost every gambling and drinking establishment in the city. Gradually, the gangster began to infiltrate the legitimate businesses, such as producing many Indian films through his D Company organization. For a long time, he wasn't particularly wanted until a series of bombings in Bombay in 1993. Everything pointed to Dawood's involvement, and he became the most wanted man in India, and was subsequently put on an international wanted list. They say the gangster's now hiding in Pakistan, but Dawood has still not been caught. One look at Jason Barnum is enough to make you want to cross the street, even if you're just looking at a picture. Barnum has a skull tattoo on his head and painted his eye black, and otherwise seems willing to do anything to look as menacing as possible. But it wasn't just about looks. The man broke into homes at night and robbed sleeping Anchorage residents. He was also involved in carjacking, and during his apprehension, he opened fire and wounded one of the law enforcement officers, fortunately not fatally. Barnum later admitted that he'd only committed crimes to get money to buy illegal substances. In the end, the portrait of the criminal was so unambiguous that the sentence hardly surprised anyone. Barnum received 22 years in prison, though with parole in about 10 years. Maybe he'll have changed by then, but I wouldn't want to be around when this guy gets released. However, it's not just men who can be criminals and instill terror in ordinary people. Aileen Wuornos, from 1989 to 1990, robbed 7 men and also took their lives.
And he said I did the most horrendous crime in the whole wide world.
Not true?
I guess not.
All of the crimes took place on Florida highways, and all of the victims were single, middle-aged male drivers who agreed to give Aileen a ride. The unfortunate's cars were left in the woods, and the woman always used a .22 caliber pistol as her weapon. In the end, Aileen was caught. Witness statements and fingerprints helped. She was given 6 death sentences. You may...
And so, to all you people out there who love to pick up those hitchhikers, you know, that look so innocent, just look like they need help, you know, because you have such a big heart. Careful, bro. Be careful who you let in your vehicle. You know, all of us want to help. It tugs at my heartstrings every time I pass somebody. You know what I mean? But in my mind, I'm like, what if? And for that one, what if, I'm not picking nobody up. Nobody up. That one what if, bro, because I only take one person to hit you like she did with a 22 or whatever it is. Yeah, just one. Nah.
You may have seen the movie Monster, where Charlize Theron played the role of Wuornos. The actress gained 14 kilograms, shaved her eyebrows, and wore dentures to look similar to her creepy heroine. And she succeeded. The critics praised her efforts and acting. Theron won an Oscar and a Golden Globe.
Oh, this has been such an incredible year.
One can only guess how psychologically difficult it was to try on the image of a killer. The story of Rodney Alcala is different from the others I've told. His good looks, outstanding intelligence, sense of humor, and charm allowed him not just to gain the trust of his victims, but to literally charm them. The true nature of the criminal was revealed only when it was too late. Alcala played with his victims and liked to photograph them.
Very nice.
Often introducing himself as a professional photographer. Almost getting caught in his first crime against an 8-year-old girl, Rodney changed his name and fled to the other side of the country. There he went to film school with Roman Polanski, worked at a children's camp in the summer, and all the while was on the FBI's list of most wanted men. Alcala was caught once, but he only spent 34 months in jail and was released again. Charm seemed to open any door for the criminal. Rodney even appeared on the television show The Dating Game in 1978 and won it.
Please welcome Rodney Alcala. Rod, welcome.
All the while, he continued to kidnap more and more victims until he was finally caught. Because Alcala committed his crimes in different states, he received a mixed sentence, both life in prison and the death penalty. Investigators believe he massacred 130 women and girls, and the found photographs, which have become kind of a trophy of the killer, are still under investigation. If Alcala, because of his charm, is known as another Ted Bundy, Dennis Rader became famous in a different way. Between 1974 and 1991, Rader took the lives of 10 people in Wichita and Park City, Kansas, and sent mocking letters to the police and newspapers describing the details of his crimes. Most of his victims were women, and almost all died for the same reasons. Perhaps the Rader case would have remained unsolved like the Zodiac case if the criminal, after several years of silence, hadn't started sending new letters. But there was the address, the DNA tests, and Rader was finally arrested. At the trial, he confessed to everything, and even seemed to apologize to the relatives of the victims. But according to the
it sounds like in some of these cases, bro, some of these dudes were found because they wanted to be caught. You know what I'm saying? They started getting careless, or they started doing new things and just didn't really care. It's like they wanted to be caught at that person, and a lot of them do. They want that fame, that notoriety for the things that they've done. It's weird, but it's common in a lot of these serial killers if you pay attention. I think I'm starting to be this weird serial killer investigative person. Like, I don't know what I'm turning into, but I'm noticing patterns. I'm noticing all kind of stuff, man. The more and more I watch this stuff, I gotta chill before I get obsessed with this type of stuff.
Prosecutor, this speech was more reminiscent of one at the Academy Awards. Rader was sentenced to at least 175 years in prison, plus life sentences, and his story inspired Stephen King's short story, The Good Marriage, and the movie of the same name. Similarly, writer Thomas Nerys said the Francis Dollarhide character in Red Dragon is based in part on the then unidentified Rader. Today, the outlaw is serving his sentence in an American prison. The earliest possible date for his release, February 26, 2080. All of the criminals I've described so far have acted completely deliberately, but not Mary Mallon. This woman was also known as Typhoid Mary and is believed to be the first asymptomatic carrier of typhoid fever in the United States. During her time as a cook, at least 53 people contracted the disease, 3 of whom died.
Mary Mallon, it is you, isn't it?
But Mary didn't just keep working with food, she flatly denied she was sick. Men and women, adults and children, all became Mary's unwitting victims, and the girl still refused to believe it. In the end, she was involuntarily quarantined in a hospital on North Brother Island, where Mary eventually died. Today, the phrase Typhoid Mary refers to carriers of dangerous diseases who spread the disease and refuse to do anything about it. See you later.
All these Typhoid Marys running around here not maintaining 6 feet of social distancing. Yeah, it's a bunch of Typhoid. All-Star Weekend had a bunch of Typhoid Marys running around here, man. Atlanta was crazy, bro. I looked at some of the videos and pictures, man. I was like, if we have a spike in Atlanta, man, we can pinpoint the date, All-Star Weekend. Like, these fools had no worries about any type of pandemic, bro. It was crazy. It was crazy. It was scary at the same time too, man. So I hope everybody stays safe. But yeah, never mess up with these people, man. The most dangerous prisoners that ever existed on Earth. A lot of them we were familiar with. Some of them we weren't, bro. And it's just crazy how they're addicted to that. They're addicted to people knowing who they are. They're addicted to things, man. Even when they got caught and released, they still went back to doing the same thing, bro. They just couldn't shake it. It's insane. You know what I mean? So, but y'all get at me in the comment section, man. Let me know what y'all thought of this video right here. And if you're just as crazy and obsessed with a lot of these videos like I am, just hit the like button for your boy, man. That way I know how many people just like me. All right? Till the next reaction, man. I'm out. Peace. Y'all stay solid. Hey.